Well, that year, you ended up losing your mansion.
Evander Holyfield made over $230 million as boxing's only four-time heavyweight champion, then ended up with roughly $1 million to his name at 63. The distance between those two numbers is the tragedy. This is the story of how that happened. The rise and the fall. Evander Holyfield was born in Moore, Alabama. He is the youngest of 9 children. The family moves to Atlanta. He grows up in the Bowen Homes housing project. He finds boxing. By 1984, he represents the United States at the Los Angeles Olympics in the light heavyweight division. In the semi-final, he dominates New Zealand's Kevin Barry through 2 rounds. Late in round 2, the Yugoslav referee calls a break mid-combination. Holyfield's follow-up hook lands milliseconds after the stoppage. He is disqualified. Kevin Barry is ruled a knockout victim and declared medically ineligible for the final. Holyfield takes home bronze. U.S. officials protest. The decision holds. He turns professional that same year. By 1988, he is the undisputed cruiserweight champion. The first man to hold all 3 major belts at that weight class simultaneously. He does something that very few fighters had done before him. Move up from cruiserweight to heavyweight and immediately compete at the top of the division. In 1990, he knocks out Buster Douglas, the man who had just knocked out Mike Tyson, to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He beats George Foreman. He beats Larry Holmes. He fights Riddick Bowe 3 times across the 1990s, winning 2 of those fights. He loses his titles to Michael Moorer in 1994, then takes time away from the sport before returning in 1995 to reclaim them. He beats Mike Tyson in 1996, one of the biggest upsets in boxing history at the time. Tyson entering as a 25-1 favorite. He beats Tyson again in 1997 in the fight where Tyson bites his ear. He fights Lennox Lewis twice. He wins the WBA title a 4th time in 2000 over John Ruiz. He holds the heavyweight championship 4 separate times, a record no other man in the history of boxing has matched. In 57 professional fights over nearly 3 decades, he earns an estimated $230 to $350 million in purse money. By the time he beats Ruiz in 2000, he is the wealthiest prize fighter in the sport. He has a 109-room mansion. He has over 100 cars. He has a record label and a restaurant and a network of businesses built on the foundation of his name. None of it holds. In April 1994, between those 2 title reigns, after the Bowe trilogy, before the Tyson fights, Holyfield loses his titles on a 12-round decision to Michael Moorer. Post-fight exams reveal a congenital heart problem, a non-compliant left ventricle, what his doctors call a stiff heart. The left ventricle can push blood out but cannot fill properly under extreme physical stress. His physician, Dr. Ronald Stevens, says it plainly. Mr. Holyfield fought this fight in heart failure, and it is an absolute miracle he could fight this fight for 12 rounds in this condition. The next day, doctors find a second condition, a small congenital hole between the upper chambers of the heart. In October of that same year, an additional diagnosis is added. Sarcoidosis, an inflammatory condition that can affect both the heart and the lungs. Holyfield announces retirement. He is 31 years old. By November 1994, the Mayo Clinic clears him for everything, boxing included. Extensive multi-day testing finds no cardiopulmonary restrictions on his activities. Holyfield credits the recovery to a faith-healing experience with preacher Benny Hinn. He returns to the ring in 1995. By 1996, he stops Mike Tyson in the 11th round to win the WBA heavyweight title. In 1997, they fight again. In round 3, after a series of head clashes, Tyson bites off a piece of Holyfield's ear twice. Holyfield keeps the title on a disqualification. The image of his severed ear cartilage becomes one of the most replayed moments in sports history. In 2000, he wins his 4th heavyweight title over John Ruiz at age 37. He is, by the only measure that counts, the greatest cruiserweight who ever moved up to heavyweight. Then the slide begins. A controversial split draw with Lennox Lewis in 1999, which most ringside observers scored for Lewis, begins to chip away at his record and his public standing. The rematch in 2000 goes to Lewis by unanimous decision. After that, a loss to Chris Bird in 2002, a TKO loss to James Toney in 2003, and a 12-round loss to Larry Donald in 2004.
Then in 2004, you fought Larry Donald.
Yeah.
You lost a 12-round unanimous decision. This was the third consecutive match.
Yeah.
That you
3 losses in a row. The first time in his career. He is 42 years old.
Losing 3 times in a row?
That's my first time ever lost 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And of course, I myself said, wow.
He said it made him stop and ask what he was still doing in the ring.
I got to find out what I'm really do. What is the purpose?
Right, because you're 42 at the time.
Yeah.
The answer the sport gave him was keep going. So he did. In 2005, the New York State Athletic Commission suspends his boxing license, not because he failed a medical test, but for what they formally called diminishing skills. He had passed every test they gave him.
The next year, the New York State Athletic Commission actually banned you from boxing due to diminishing skills, even though you passed all the tests.
He kept fighting regardless, picking up wins against lower-level opponents while waiting for a path back to a title shot.
You beat Jeremy Bates by TKO. You beat Frank Oquendo by unanimous decision.
Wins over men that a prime Holyfield would have stopped inside 3 rounds. He was 45. Cycling through opponents to stay active and stay paid.
Vinny Matalone by TKO. You beat Lou Savaris.
Yep.
So you're just now winning and winning and winning. And you're 45 at the time.
The wins bought him one more shot at relevance. He fought Nikolai Valuev in 2008, a Russian super heavyweight who weighed 310 pounds to Holyfield's 214.
He beat you, but they said that you were dominating the whole time.
What was that?
Holyfield believed, and most observers agreed, that he had won that fight. He did not get the decision.
Everybody knows that I won that fight.
He was 45 years old. He earned $600,000 for that fight, the lowest purse of his professional career. The man who had made $230 million in boxing was fighting a 310-pound Russian for $600,000 because the money had run out. His last professional win came in 2011 against Brian Nielsen at age 48. His final recorded bout, a no contest against Sherman Williams, stopped in the 6th round for a cut above his eye, was described by observers as one of the worst performances of his career. He officially retired in 2014. In 2021, at 58 years old, he returned for one more exhibition against Vitor Belfort in Florida. He was stopped in the 1st round. The state of Florida issued him a 30-day medical suspension. The man who had beaten Mike Tyson twice was receiving a suspension after 1 round against a mixed martial arts crossover. That was the end. A 27-year career, 57 professional fights, 4 heavyweight titles, 1 undisputed cruiserweight reign, and a reported net worth of approximately $1 million. The question was never whether Holyfield was great. He was. The question is, where did everything else go? Where did $230 million go? And the answer to that question involves a 109-room mansion, a sister, a record label, a grill, 3 divorces, 11 children, and a career that extended far beyond the point where it should have stopped. By the time he was taking $600,000 to fight a 310 pounds Russian, by the time the New York State Athletic Commission was suspending him for diminishing skills, by the time he was chasing wins over journeymen named Vinny Malone and Lou Savaris, the money from the Tyson fights, the title defenses, the prime years was already long gone. He was not fighting to build on what he had. He was fighting to cover what was missing. Each of those threads is a chapter in its own right. And the first chapter starts with a house. The empire falls. Money, betrayal, and business. In 1998, Evander Holyfield built something that had no business existing in the first place. A 109-room, 54,000 square foot estate on 235 rolling acres in Fairburn, Georgia. 17 bathrooms, 3 full kitchens, a bowling alley, a private cinema, a gymnasium, a recording studio, and an Olympic-sized swimming pool. The kind of property that does not just require money to build. It requires money simply to exist, to breathe. The yearly cost of keeping that house operational, taxes, utilities, electricity, air conditioning, landscaping, maintenance staff, ran to close to $1 million per year. Every single year, before Holyfield spent $1 on anything else, $1 million walked out the door. For a while, the fights covered it. For a while, being the best heavyweight on the planet was enough to keep the lights on in all 17 bathrooms. But by 2008, the financial architecture that had been quietly buckling for years finally gave way. Washington Mutual Bank issued a foreclosure notice after Holyfield defaulted on a $10 million loan. The bank itself was collapsing, one of the largest bank failures in American history. Absorbed by JP Morgan Chase during the 2008 financial crisis, Holyfield's mortgage was caught in the wreckage.
And what exactly happened in that situation?
Well, in the situation that one of the family members borrowed money off my house.
Wait. One of your family members took a second mortgage.
$7 million for a property valued at anywhere between $10 and $20 million. A sale that by any measure was a bloodletting. But there was a second wound beneath the first, and it came from inside the family.
That's because it was kind of sad after my mama passed. Now, everybody wanted to steal from me.
Without Holyfield's knowledge, one of his sisters had taken out a second mortgage against his property. When Washington Mutual collapsed, both outstanding balances, the original loan and the unauthorized second mortgage, triggered foreclosure simultaneously. The house was gone, and the weight of that betrayal hit differently because of who had just left.
Your sister stole from you.
Yeah.
So you can't even beat her up or nothing because
He was the youngest of 9 siblings. These were his older sisters. Women who were almost parental figures to him. Women who had kids his age. Women who he had spent a lifetime looking up to.
in the course of your career. $250 million.
He chose not to press charges. He chose not to name her publicly. He described his reasoning as this. He had made too much money in his life to stoop to sending his own sister to prison. He forgave her. He moved on. The mansion eventually ended up with rapper Rick Ross, who purchased it for around $5.7 million. Holyfield moved into a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, I mean, along the way, you started a record label, Real Deal Records. You invested millions of dollars into it. Unfortunately, none of the artists popped off.
$250 million earned, and the mansion was only the beginning of the losses. Because while the house was dissolving in foreclosure proceedings, the business graveyard that Holyfield had been building since 1999 was already full. That year, 1999, fresh off his controversial first fight with Lennox Lewis, Holyfield launched Real Deal Records LLC, an Atlanta-based music label distributed through Orpheus Records, carrying a diverse roster of R&B, hip-hop, and gospel acts, Legit, Cutboy G, Diero, an R&B trio called Exhale, a gospel singer named Lexi, a Filipino pop act called Saison, and several others. The label released its first albums in the summer of 1999. None of the artists broke through. None of the releases found traction. The label folded by the early 2000s at a reported cost of around $3 million.